It's Tuesday, February 22nd. I'm Jacob Cohen here with hustle writer Rob Litterest, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we've got some interesting items on the menu. In a bit, we're going to talk about VR and times it gets a little too immersive.
Yes.
But before that, to start off your Tuesday, here are 4 things you should know.
So I'm looking at the NFL and specifically a DAO that is trying to buy the Denver Broncos. And if you don't know what a DAO is, it is a decentralized autonomous organization. I have heard it described by Cooper Turley, who's an investor and builder of several popular DAOs, call it an internet community with a shared bank account. And if you didn't catch it last year, the big DAO that was kind of all the rage and really kind of brought this term into the public is Constitution DAO, which was a group of crypto enthusiasts that I think you and I were both part of, Jacob, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was trying to buy the Constitution.
I wanted to buy it too. We ultimately were outbid by Citadel CEO Kenneth Griffin, but
yeah, what was it? 50 mil? I think it was 50 mil.
I think so. And see, that is where this gets really, really interesting. So Constitution DAO raised $47 million. Buy the Broncos, which is this new DAO that wants to buy the Broncos, is trying to pull together $4 billion to purchase the team. So a completely different scale, completely different level of fundraising. And people at the top of organizations already disagree enough. I cannot imagine, like, their entire goal is basically having the fans run the team. And can you imagine how many fights they're going to get into about like what they should actually do with personnel moves? There
will be some issues. But listen, this would be an interesting one. And honestly, I hope that they can live up to their name and buy the Broncos.
The next one that I have my eyes on, so we talked about this yesterday, the Felicity Ace. So this is that cargo ship that is stuck out on the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And it's stuck out on the Atlantic Ocean because it's on fire and it's carrying thousands of cars. So this huge ship has over 2,000 cars on it. It's been in flames, I think, since last Friday. And Smith Salvage is a company that was sent out to extinguish the flames. And they essentially said that the reason that it's so hard to put the fire out is because there are so many electric vehicles on board, and the lithium ion batteries are known to catch fire in these vehicles.
Right.
And they spread really quickly. So ultimately they need more than water to extinguish the flames.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what's really interesting about it is it could really kind of change how EVs are transported, which has really big implications because of how aggressively European auto manufacturers are moving into electric.
Right.
I know you're a digits guy, so just a few numbers for you. So Volkswagen wants 50% of its US sales to be electric by 2030. BMW is aiming for 50% of all of its vehicles by 2030, and Mercedes is looking to move to all EV platforms by 2025. So lots of EVs coming our way, and this could really kind of change how they ultimately hit our shores.
Yeah, there are really nice cars on this boat too. I think there are like 1,000 Porsches or something like that.
Oh yeah, and they might be at the bottom of the ocean pretty soon.
Well, if you can afford a Porsche, you could afford another Porsche, so... What I'm looking at is Uber.
Ooh.
Uber published some city-by-city data about their rider ratings in the U.S.
Oh, boy.
So the cities with the highest rider ratings, the cities with the lowest rider ratings, and these are ratings that the drivers give to riders.
Uh-huh.
So the city, of course, unsurprisingly, with the lowest average rider rating is New York City.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Boston has to be close behind. I'd be shocked if Boston...
I think Boston was number 4. Worst city. And some of the best cities were San Antonio, St. Louis, Nashville, Salt Lake City, Kansas City, places that you would expect, you know.
Of course, yeah, you go south and everybody's nice. If you come up to the Northeast, you get all the cranky New Englanders.
Yeah, exactly. So what's interesting, Uber also released an app update that allows you to actually check how many of each, not just what your score is, that they've been able to do that you've been able to do that in the app for a long time, see what your rating is. But now you're able to check how many 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 star ratings you've actually received.
I'm so nervous. I haven't done this yet, and I need to do this now.
Oh yeah, your ego can take a hit for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
I checked. I have 1 star rating.
Do you remember the ride? Do you remember the driver or the... No,
I have no idea, and I pride myself on being a fantastic Uber rider, so I have no idea.
I'm biased, JC, but I'm going to say I would love to give you a ride as an Uber driver. I can't see you possibly being worthy of a 1-star review.
Yeah. Anyways, The next thing I'm following is Trump's new social media app, which debuted on the App Store yesterday.
That's right.
Yep. So it's called Truth Social. And basically, it's Trump's version of Twitter. And it basically looks like Twitter and works like Twitter. It was experiencing some technical difficulties during the sign-up process yesterday. I think a lot of people are, want to see what the deal with it is. So a lot of people are signing up. And it bills itself as America's big tent social media platform that encourages an open, free, honest, global conversation without discriminating against political ideology. That's what it bills itself as.
Wow. Okay.
Which is a very nice sentence in theory, right?
Right.
I think everyone can agree with that. But I will say what's most interesting about this to me is it's just one part of the TMTG group. So the Trump Media and Technology Group. This is just one business unit that group is building out. They're trying to go public via SPAC. They're having some legal problems there, but I came across the pitch deck for TMTG. And there's this one slide in there that shows how the different business units they're developing will compete with existing companies. So like this one, Truth Social, is going to compete with Twitter, Facebook. Then it says TMTG Plus that they're working on is going to compete with Netflix, Disney Plus. They have TMTG News to compete with CNN. Then they're going to have, this was really the kicker, down the road, they're going to make a tech company that'll compete with AWS and Stripe.
AWS and Stripe. Oh my goodness.
Listen, you got to dream big.
That's ambitious. Yeah, that's a pretty bold presentation.
It is a bold presentation. It's just day one of Truth Social, but I'm sure it'll be in the news a lot in the coming months, so we'll see what happens.
Oh, without a doubt. And I bet they'll get a ton of users too.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be shocked if a bunch of people don't jump on there.
Let's talk about VR.
Okay, so this was super interesting to me. It turns out VR can get a little too immersive. Basically, what ends up happening is gamers who are playing VR games sometimes forget that they're still tethered to the physical world. And when that happens, they break stuff. And the proof is in the pudding here. So insurance claims that mention VR headsets jumped 31% in 2021. The rise of VR insurance claims tracks super closely with the popularity of VR headsets. It's pretty much perfectly linear if you look at it.
Nice.
Since 2016, claims are up 68%. So basically what I'm saying is this is only going to get worse and worse. Like there are only going to be more and more kind of damages caused by VR games. The average claim is coming in at $880. And one more fun fact, the most damaged item is TVs.
Yep.
Which I guess not surprising at all. Aviva, which is an insurance company, shared a few of the examples of the claims that they've received. One of them is a broken TV from a gamer throwing a remote at it after being frightened by a zombie.
Yep.
And then another is broken designer figurines from a gamer swiping them off a mantelpiece when the game essentially required them to do a swipe motion.
And I've seen a lot of this on TikTok, online.
Really?
Kids, adults, grandparents, people of all ages wearing these VR headsets in their living rooms, doing some move, like thinking they're playing tennis or something, and just like throwing a remote through the TV. There's a lot of this right now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
From what I was reading, ultimately there are people that are actually getting hurt doing this as well. And there's an entire subreddit that's super popular that has tons of posts. It has 83,000 members. It's called VR to ER. And it basically just collects examples of people getting hurt playing VR games. And
I gotta get into this. I gotta enter. Hold on. I gotta join that subreddit because I've experienced this firsthand.
Have you really? You've gotten hurt?
I've gotten hurt playing. My friend had an Oculus Quest, I guess. I tried it out. I forget what the game was called, but it's basically a shooting game where you have to dodge bullets that are being shot at you, but you have to make crazy movements to dodge them.
Yeah.
I really pulled my back out.
No way.
It was like a real back pull. Like you're out of commission for days. That's what happened. It was one of those.
Unfortunately, I know exactly how that feels. That's terrible.
Yeah.
The bigger takeaway here and what really interests me is this question of, is immersive VR the best solution out there for, I guess, this whole kind of bubble, or we can call it the metaverse buzzword, is kind of a catch-all for everything like this. Brad Singerland, who runs Non-Zero Sum Capital, he has an awesome newsletter. He's always digging into the future, argues that augmented reality is the better option for almost every type of app, and that big tech companies are moving in the wrong direction by focusing all their efforts on immersive VR. And some of the reasons that he says this is being tethered to the real world prevents accidents, which obviously we've been talking about this. So he also says that there's something kind of magical about enhancing the real world.
Sure.
So if you think about Pokemon Go and some of the other use cases we've seen so far, people have had a lot of fun and they've gotten outdoors and they've been able to really kind of play around in the real world with these platforms, which I think he thinks would be kind of the better option and where this stuff should go.
Yeah. And bada bing, bada boom, that's it, folks. For more on the Hustle's tech and business coverage and links to all kinds of cool stuff from around the web, check out our newsletter at thehustle.co. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes maestros Darren Clark and Matthew Brown. I'm Jacob Cohen here with Hustle writer Rob Litterest. You've been listening to the Hustle Daily Show, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. See you tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late, since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.